Attention teachers and students. This weekend we will be having the school lockdown, and we won't be having any security around whatsoever. I'm not sure why I'm telling you this, but I thought you might want to know. Okay, have a good one. Thanks for listening.
Man, what a hideous, ugly place.
I like it. It's a statement.
Hey guys, this is Joe and Scott, and we're just another movie night. And
today we're talking trash.
We are talking trash. Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash.
This is where we rip apart movies. We're going to tell you the whole thing. We're going to break it down so you don't have to see it, because we wish we did.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about one I really wish I hadn't seen. I think it's called Student Bodies.
It's called Student Body.
Student Body.
Yeah, not to be confused with the other one that's from the 80s.
Which is funny because for a movie called Student Body, there is only about maybe 10 school children in this movie. And nobody exists except a teacher, a principal, and 5 main students, and maybe 6 other
useless characters.
No, I mean like extras.
Extras, yeah.
6 extras.
Useless people. That's what I'm calling them.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't call any extras useless.
No, not extras. I'm saying just the people in this movie.
I mean, there's literally, it's a school, and I think it's a private prep school of some sort for rich kids.
It's definitely a prep school. They don't really specify exactly. I'm going to go
sure
with some kind of private school, because they wear uniforms.
Yep.
And
I think they live on campus?
No, they don't live on campus. We never actually see where they live.
I mean, that can't be possible. They have to live on campus. Because...
Not really. It's a private school.
Kids, they never leave. And they're there at night. That's a big plot point.
They're there at night only because that's the place where they're hanging out. Because there's
in their clothes from school.
Time out.
So the debate here is that we don't know if they ever go home, because we never see them go home. I never see them get dropped off.
I mean, it's not like Hogwarts where they live there, but I feel like
a boarding school.
But we don't ever see the living quarters. We just see the school itself.
But the living quarters, I think, are next door, because there is a scene where they're inside the school and they look across and they see a living quarters. And we had a conversation about that during the movie.
It's fine. No one should give a shit. So can we stop talking about school and put our considerable free-thinking brains to good use?
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's just say...
I think that there are shit kids that were dropped off here because the parents don't want to deal with them.
Okay, well...
In particular, we know this because one character in particular talks about her rich mother. The other kids... And this is where... Okay. Starting off at the beginning of this thing. First off, I'm just going to say the synopsis of this movie is a bunch of shit kids in a school get terrorized by a killer. That's a synopsis.
Yes.
This is hardly a movie.
But let's just say that when we were watching this movie, we were about 40 minutes in, and we're looking at each other and saying, is this a horror movie? Because it's listed as a horror movie, but there's no horror in it. Like, what is going on?
This is as PG as you can get.
Yes. Okay, so let's just backtrack for a moment.
First off, tell me if it's R.
Okay.
Is it R? Because I think I know why it would be.
It says not rated on IMDb.
So yeah, and I don't know if this was ever released. I don't know if this is an app movie or a streaming service movie of some sort. I think this is one of those movies that was filmed and just dumped on VOD. Because
it's a Prime movie, but I don't think it was
it's on Prime.
Yeah,
I don't think Prime made it. I don't think they produced it. I think it was just dropped on there as VOD.
It says Showtime, but I don't know.
Showtime.
It's this movie. It definitely did not come out in the theaters. I can promise you that. But it's just okay. So it's supposed to be a horror movie.
I'm going to say it's R, and the only reason I want to bring this up is because the reason it might be R is it suggested gore. There is blood. It's just you don't see the wounds. And then I will also say that the word vagina and clit and things like that are said so many times in this film. It's like Clueless for disgusting kids.
These kids are the worst. They're the worst kids. I can't. Let me just start off by saying that you're going to hear me whine and moan and groan because I hate this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate this movie so much, and I hate every character in this movie. I hate every actor in this movie.
This was bad.
This movie was just the biggest sack of crap. But can we start off with the main character? I can't even talk.
Yeah.
That's how much I hate this movie.
It starts off the bat. It's all automatically weird. Like the plot is automatically strange.
Automatic. I mean, right from the beginning, you have no idea what this movie is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be one of those teen angsty movies, or is it supposed to be a horror movie, a slasher movie, a thriller? We don't know what's going on in this movie because it takes at least 40 minutes to get going.
The horror aspect kicks in the end. I don't even know if this is a full hour and 30 minutes. I feel like it's under an hour.
This movie is actually 1 hour and 29 minutes.
I knew it. I knew it was right under the 30 mark.
At least 40 minutes to get going.
And you know that's credits is a good 9 minutes of that. So it's actually probably an hour 20, if anything. When I say this is hardly a movie, this feels like a bad after school special.
Yes, it does. 100%.
But it's also feels like an after school special that was filmed by an indie horror director who was told don't show gore. It is very strange.
Well, this is directed by a woman. Her name is Leanne Kerr.
Okay. Has she done anything else?
It doesn't look like anything we have seen. It looks like she's directed 4 films.
Are they actual films or shorts?
Could be shorts.
Yeah.
One looks
That's
like a TV show.
An episode of a
Wonder,
TV show.
a couple episodes of a TV show. I don't know. I've never heard of this director, but I'm going to tell you.
I don't think it's badly directed.
I don't think it's badly directed, but this movie sucks.
The reason it sucks, I hope she didn't write the script as well. Because the script,
yes,
she did. See, that's the problem, okay? The script is awful. It's like somebody who wants to be Diablo Cody at the same time as wanting to be... I'm trying to think of somebody right now who's making like ultra-realistic teen horror films. Like the Kevin Williamson of now.
Who's the Kevin Williamson of now?
That's my problem. But I've seen a lot of people do movies like this recently, especially... not big release films, but a lot of culty underground films like Scare Package and stuff like that. There's segments in these movies that were filmed by these indie directors who do these ultra hipster type of vibe movies, and this movie's got that all over it. The color palette is very bright. The kids talk like, I guess this is if kids talk like this. God no, I hope not. But it's just awful.
I mean, honestly, it's been a long time since we've been in high school. But I can tell you, these kids...
It's like the Juno of 2020. It's just bizarre talk.
I have problems with every single character in this movie. I mean, from the main girl, I mean, she's not so bad of a character, but she's just a freaking wimp. And then her best friend, so-called, who she seems to be obsessed with in a weird way, is hands down worst character.
Yeah, maybe we should just talk this plot out because it's not very long and it's very easy to talk out.
This is going to be a short one.
Yeah, honestly. Because it starts off right off the bat with the main character who is a young girl. Again, we don't know, I really don't know much about this school, but they never leave the school and we never see them change their clothes.
Once we do, when they... So, okay, let's start out by saying
start at the beginning.
Her name is Jane. Her best friend is Merritt, who's goddamn
Let's not
awful.
say best friend yet, because we got to talk that out, because the opening of this movie, we just see this girl pining after, she's at a locker, and she's pining after 4 kids in that slow motion walk thing from every clothing commercial you've ever seen.
Yeah, the slow walk.
The slow walk that's done in every movie who bad directors
Jawbreaker
do.
and
every bad director.
Heathers and the slow walk. Like these are the bad kids.
I wish
These
you
are the
wouldn't have
popular
named.
kids.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have named decent films. I wish you would have named because this is an overdone.
I'm just saying that it's like over dramatized, like the popular girls or pink ladies or whatever. Like you almost want to do that slow mo thing because they're just so cool. We're gonna rule the school type deal.
Whereas in movies like Jawbreaker, the ones you named Heather's, Jawbreaker, or
even Mean Girls.
All these movies that do that, they set up the fact that these girls are usually a group of women who are the badasses in the school.
On campus,
they're the bullies. Everybody wants to be them. Here, this is a clothing ad. There's four children
it's like the
who would never hang out, all dressed in the most ridiculous overboard outfits and looks.
Except for the one that doesn't fit in. So
which one of those? None of them fit in.
There's 5 of them. So
there's only 4, and there's the 5th one is the mean girl. That's what we're talking about. She's at the locker.
Okay, so but there's a total of 5 of them. Let's see. There's Jane. She's the main girl, and we're supposed to care about her. We don't. Then there's.
I wouldn't say that I don't care.
I don't care about her at all. I think she's
the only saving grace.
She's the only. Okay, of the 5 characters, she's the only one you kind of feel for a little bit. But otherwise, I just don't care. And then you got the best friend. Her name is Merritt.
You see, that's why you're jumping into a thing. You're saying best friend. I don't think she's the best friend.
Well, she's obsessed with her. She's obsessed with her. And they were friends when they were little. From the time they were little.
We find that out later on in the movie where they say that they were friends. I don't know how it doesn't make sense. That's what I wanted to say. Like it doesn't
make sense that any of these kids are friends.
But that's what I wanted to say. Like when we see her, she's staring at them and longing to be friends with them. But then the main girl in this group that's walking toward her in slow motion, she comes up to her and they seem to already know each other, and she's taking a leaf out of her hair. She says, "What were you doing?" "I was playing in the woods in mud." I don't even know what the hell that doesn't make sense for the plot. And she's like, "You got crap on your backpack."
Getting another facelift. I said she'll look like a wax monster. She said my acne is worse than my cousin Greg.
That's not true. Your face is pretty fine to me.
What's this?
Oh,
We're out in the woods again.
Yeah, like a few minutes though.
Pull your hair back and find a mirror. You look prehistoric. Ooh, something died on your backpack.
Ew, really?
Is she the bully, or are they actually friends?
What they're trying to say is that they're in a group of friends. There's always one kid that gets dumped on a lot. She's the one that gets dumped on a lot. She's a very smart kid. She doesn't have the same fashion sense as her friend Merritt, which you'll hear me say her name a lot. She's the worst. So she's a very different kid.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to introduce the fucking kids. Okay.
Why?
So, because I think everyone should know these fucking kids. I can't. Anyway, we have Jane, who is the main girl. Okay, we're supposed to care about her. Merritt, who has the worst goddamn hair on the planet. I can't take it. She is the absolute most abhorrent character of all time. She is freaking awful. So then
she's the main one, right?
She is the so-called, that you don't want to call her, best friend that picks the leaves out of her hair.
It makes no sense.
Then we have Ellis, who's just a regular guy, that nothing special about him whatsoever.
Yeah, the way he looks and dresses, like the 80s cool guy with the rolled up sleeves, with a sports jacket, and he's got the tie loose. He looks like a whole character from another genre, like another decade.
We got Ellis. Then we have, we'll save this one for last. Then we have Eric, who they call Frenchie.
Go wreck him, Frenchie boy.
He reminds me so much of Dustin from Stranger Things. He seems
don't do that kid that bad.
He has that same like hair. He seems kind of dorky a little bit.
He is the obnoxious friend you see in movies. The friend that gets drunk and does all the hijinks like that. There's always that one friend that's the friend of the cool kid.
Mm-hmm. He's always got that dork. That's what I'm saying to you. Yeah. It's like Dustin, who, he's friends with the cool kid, meaning Steve. Steve is like his, guardian angel. And then, it happens again in Stranger Things this season with Eddie. And then Dustin kind of like gets shit on a lot.
I don't think so. I think Dustin is, everybody likes Dustin. That's like the whole thing of him. Like in this season of Stranger Things, the Eddie character is like, you're the cool, like you're the awesome kid, And I'm like, Dustin, I think that's the thing with Dustin. But this kid is like one of the bully friends, one of the kids that you don't like because he's always the guy, like the jocks have that one guy, that's one jock who's like drinking and doing dumb things. That's this kid. This kid's, we see him walking with the cool kids with pink headphones. It just doesn't match this character whatsoever.
Well, all of them don't seem like they would have anything in common.
Nothing.
Okay, so let's get to the final character, number 5. Her character's name is Nadia, and she's played by Harley Quinn Smith, who is director Kevin Smith's daughter. And I can't even tell you enough how I wanted to reach through the TV and grab her by her freaking neck.
I swear to God, if I can't play next Friday because of math, I will microwave your TV dinner ass.
I don't think she's as bad as the lead cool kid.
Oh, no, she's not as bad as Merritt.
That actress, everything about that character, the choicing acting, even the way she stands and walks is infuriating.
Everything about this. Okay, first of all, the actress is Cheyenne Haynes. I never heard of Cheyenne Haynes.
She's done some like roles in TV, I think.
I can't even express to you how awful this fucking character is. She's so awful. I mean, you can't. This is what I don't understand about high school students these days. Is like, why are you friends with somebody that repeatedly berates you and makes you feel small? Like, how are you calling this girl your friend? She is the worst. She is like the Regina. Isn't it her name Regina from Mean Girls? Like, just constantly being a total bitch.
Well,
about
which one are
everything.
you talking about? You're talking about the girl with the locker?
I'm talking
I don't remember her
about
name.
the main girl. So the main girl's name is Jane.
Okay, so Jane, you're saying,
Jane
why would she be friends with the other?
Why would she ever want to be friends with Merritt?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, what is with these people? Like, if I had a friend that constantly berated me, I would not call her a friend. I would be like, fuck you, I'm out. I mean, this movie infuriates me.
Yeah, and to go back just to say that Harley Smith, the character she's playing is the tomboy. They're trying to like check off these things. She's kind of like the tomboy. She plays sports and she's like a brute. Right?
Okay, yeah. So that here's the thing about that. We talked about this, when they introduced all the characters and they told us like basically who they were, like, individually.
I don't even. Yeah,
it was kind of like little bits and pieces of coming out slowly who these people are. And they could not have picked a more unconvincing girl to play a soccer player, first of all. Okay. Now, if you watch this movie and you see how she runs up and down the field, she looks like she's completely lost. She has no idea even what a soccer ball is.
Wow.
So that's number one. She has no idea what's going on.
I think that she's kind of perfect, but I think she's kind of perfect for the brute character. I believe it. She looks like she's going to punch everybody in the face in this movie. So she fits that role, I think.
I mean, her character's nasty as fuck anyway. I mean, she sits there with, like, they make a point of showing her sitting in the front row of the class and she just has her legs spread open.
Yeah,
and
the camera is shot through her legs.
So awful. I'm like, can you just close your legs, please?
And not
close
once,
your legs.
but multiple times that camera is at her crotch.
It's just so, oh my God, I can't. So
it oozes disgusting.
I know, I can't. I'm so angry talking about this movie.
Going back, we see the whole slow mode walk. We see this girl, Jean, like you said. She's at the locker. She's like longing to. This shot only means in movies that she's longing to be a part of this group. But then we find out she kind of is a part of the group. And that's where the confusion sets in.
Yeah.
What we find out in the movie as it goes on is she is friends with the lead group member. How they're actually a group of friends is baffling. They all hate each other.
They have nothing in common at all, except the two guys, which, lovingly refer to each other, which is creepy, as as dad and son.
Yeah, father and son or
So
something like that?
no,
Is
no,
it dad?
dad. So Ellis, who is the everyday kid, the jockey kind of kid, he refers to Frenchie, the pink headphone wearing kid, as son, and Frenchie refers to Ellis as dad. Why? We don't know. We don't know. They
I don't think they tell.
They don't tell us.
And if they do, we might have blacked out.
Yeah,
Because
I might have blocked it out.
It was a lot of disgusting to look at.
That's one.
Just be yourself, son.
That's two. But Dad, if he's more jacked than me,
Three.
Krakowski's gonna give him the mascot gig for sure.
Four.
Stop him, Dad.
It was just a lot of awful facial expressions in this movie. Too many close-ups on actors' faces that were just awful. I gotta tell you, the plot of this movie, it was so predictable. It was just so over the top predictable that I literally wanted to shut it off halfway through, and I never ever do that. I always follow it through, and we watch the crap of the crap, like the creme de la creme of trash cinema. And I've never wanted to shut any of those movies off as bad as I wanted to shut this one off.
I think we might have seen worse, but I
it just
do
made me
understand where
physically
you're coming
sick
from.
to have to watch the acting in this movie. So I guess let's just get to the plot.
Yeah, I was trying to get that's what I was saying. The shot of the slow motion walk, which we were talking about a second ago, that usually means something in a movie, and that's why you do it. You're trying to show that the dork wants to be a part of the cool kids, but then she comes to her. And she has seen that, where have you been? What are you doing? And she kind of picks on her in a bully way, but she also seems to be taking care of her. It is very strange. But the next scene goes to class. And we have these characters we just pointed out and some of the extras that are sitting in this room with them. They're arguing about having to take a test. And the teacher seems like he's in another decade because he's dressed like a 1950s like businessman or something. It's very strange. He has
like
a pocket watch,
like brown suit,
smoking
he looks
jacket.
like a Poindexter. I don't know.
And the acting on this guy is on a whole nother plane than the rest of the movie. He is. I don't know what he's doing, but he is. It's like they told him, be a villain in a Bond movie, be crazy as hell, be something else. It's very strange.
Before I knew it, the chill had come. Please, give me some bread. I deserve some food. The family had no choice. They turned their backs and went on with their work. The fiddler did not live to play another summer. The end.
The kids are all mad because they have a test and they want to have a chance to take it over because nobody in the class except one person passed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like a problem on the chalkboard. And they're all saying like the main cool kid, I guess. I don't want to say that, but I have to. She's saying, I need a retake.
Excuse me. When's the retake?
And the teacher's like, well, no. If someone can solve this. He's basically like downing the whole class. You're all stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then he calls on the lead actress, Jane. What did you say her name?
Jane, yeah.
Jane. Solve the board. She comes up there in a trance-like state and solves this whole board. Writes basically what Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting writes on the chalkboard. It's like in a giant problem being written out all over the board. And she's in a trance. She doesn't even know she's doing it. She just like stops and then she turns around and she's so happy with herself. Everybody in the class, and they cut to the lead girl, the cool girl, I guess.
Merritt.
Her face. They zoom up on it and she's like, as F. Oh my God. Right? Basically, this is why you're not going to have a redo. Because you're all stupid and you failed. And she can do it. Right? And so now the kids are all mad. Except the one guy in the group seems into her because she did the problem. And that's where we start understanding that it doesn't look like he ever talks to her or interacts with her. And this is like the first time that this guy has seen her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. There's only like 20 kids. I would say less. It seems like 10. There's only 10 kids in the school. I never see any other kids.
I mean, we do see other kids.
Do we?
They're just
only in
walking
that class.
by.
I really feel like we don't see much. Even later on at a soccer game, there's literally the two main characters cheering in the stands. It's so strange. And it's a bunch of parent-looking people, or maybe faculty members. I don't know what they are. But anyways, so she's mad now at the main girl for doing the problem right.
She got the answer correct.
So she's mad at her. And then she's like, "How dare you? You screwed us all over." And what's really strange here, everybody gets kicked out of the class except that girl Jane, and the teacher and her have the creepiest moment ever. He is very, "You're so brilliant," and all this stuff. And he's like, "You're important and you're special."
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, it's cool.
You all right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to commend you on your work at the board. I put you on the spot, but I knew you can handle it.
Oh, well, thanks.
You never have to feel ashamed of your talents, Jane.
And you're gonna do great things, and he's all about her in a super creepy way.
Which is not even the creepiest time, because there's a second one of these that's even creepier,
They have in
and that's what pushes the plot.
Oh, let me just interject and say that we didn't realize this. We should have, but the teacher is in a ton of stuff that
he looked very familiar.
Well, you know who he is? He is Eleazar from Twilight, the Denali family. You know, the Denali coven.
Is that one of the bad guys?
Yeah, he's that guy. It looks like.
Is he the one who kills himself? And I think that's one of my favorite moments. Oh, I do not recognize him.
I just showed Scott a picture of this guy.
All I see is Michael Sheen overacting in that movie, and it's amazing. Yeah, well, he looked familiar. I knew we've seen him in other things.
We've seen him in other things. Whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, we get now when she leaves the classroom, we see her talking on a hood, on the trunk of a car with her friend. What was her name again?
Merritt.
Merritt?
Yeah.
Okay, who gives a shit? I don't know why I even care. Merritt and Jane are sitting in a car, and Merritt is virtually they're talking like they're friends. I remember that time back in whatever grade, elementary school, we hung out and we're good friends. And then she's like, "But you're a bitch because you solved that problem, and you made me look like shit and never do it again."
Yes, no, the whole entire her whole beef with Jane is the fact that she solved the problem, so she made Merritt look like an asshole.
Janie, the man's got a hard-on for your derivatives. You could get him to do anything. Even get us that retake.
Yeah.
Love you, Janie.
I love you too. One more thing. Never make me look like an asshole again.
How she made Merritt look like an asshole is beyond me.
Because Merritt didn't study, and so it's
Jane's
fault because she knows the question.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Did you even study?" And she goes, "No, I didn't really have to." Jane's like, "I didn't have to because I kind of know it all." And then she's like, "I think you secretly love the teacher. I think you love the attention. I think that you want to be alone with him." And she's like, "Hee, maybe." Yeah. And then she's like,
"It's just so bizarre." None of the dialogue. I mean, the dialogue is pretty bad, especially on this character of Merritt. I mean, the words, the things that come out of her mouth.
Yeah, they have some kind of saying they say back and forth. Check your clit.
No, calm your clit.
Yeah, calm your clit.
Calm your clit. This is a thing that this chick says to this other girl. Yeah. Calm your clit. First of all, I would never, ever even think of something like that to say, and I would never, ever want to say something like that. That's just so stupid. First of all, you sound like a moron.
Yeah.
And why would you ever use that expression? It's just so I've heard the expression "calm your tits" before.
Oh, but I haven't heard that one either.
Yeah, I've heard that expression, but
guys don't have things like this. They don't say, "Hey, check your dick." But I'm gonna say that next time I see all the guys I know, and I'm gonna say,
"This
check your
episode
dick,
is out of control already." Because my freaking face is flaring. I hate this movie so much.
So
why can't you?
Because once Kathy sees my calculus test, she's gonna nail my labia to the dining room floor.
To even tell you, I pretend that I know how the plot flows. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna jump forward and say we see a soccer game. where the one character played by Harley Smith
Oh,
is
Harley Smith.
a
Yeah.
soccer player.
Harley Smith who can't run up and down the field like, she even knows
I
what
don't
she's
even
fucking
know if I
doing.
recognize this. But in the crowd, the two guys are in the stands. And when I say stands, it's virtually like a bleacher.
Like just bleachers.
It's not even a lot of, it's just like a bleacher.
Like a couple of rows.
Yeah, 2 rows maybe, and with some parent-looking people. And the guy, not the cool guy, the dork guy,
The Dustin
is
kind of character.
screaming his brains out with his shirt off, with something written on it, and he's like screaming at the mascot for this soccer team, this is crazy. It's a guy, a smiling head, like a giant cartoon head.
Yeah, guys, if you're listening right now, you have to look up the mascot. Just go to IMDb, and he's like literally in the trailer.
If you've ever played Fallout, think of Pip-Boy, but with like a giant smiling head.
Yeah, he's
stretched to like a pencil.
Beyond
shape.
like creep. It's like a creep factor
So
11.
It's that, an apron, some gloves, and he carries a sledgehammer. And now what's crazy about this is it's a real sledgehammer. I'm not sure why it's not a plastic sledgehammer of some sort. It's a real sledgehammer, and the joke here is they're funded by a company that makes plexiglass or unbreakable glass. And so the whole joke at halftime or whatever is that this mascot swings a sledgehammer at plexiglass and can't break it. He doesn't even swing it. It's like a fake hit. And so this is where the dorky kid, is screaming at the mascot, "You can't do anything. You can't break the glass. You suck." And then he looks at a woman next to him who apparently owns the company that has this mascot.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You suck." I don't even know what the hell's happening. And that woman's drinking her cup of coffee, her comically large cup.
Yes.
Like, my life sucks.
But this kid.
Why is this happening?
So this Frenchy kid, he's just a little asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a little asshole. And then, this just the way he refers to his friend Ellis as dad, and
like he's got to take care of him.
So,
that's what I think it is. Like it's supposed to be like
yeah, but he's doing a really shit job. Okay, I mean the kid's a little
he's
asshole.
Letting him live his best life.
No, he's just a.
There is a
asshole.
weird plot here. There's a plot where they have apparently got some kind of diary or something from this woman, and they know something. It doesn't matter. It does not factor in, except for being maybe who the killer later on is. But it's not really, because the guy who is playing the mascot turns out to be that woman's son. I think he takes off his mask and starts fighting with Harley Smith, which is really funny because he's talking to her and you can't hear any of the dialogue, but then you can hear her response. So it's like he's mouthing. He's not even talking.
Yeah, he's not even talking, which was a very odd. It was a very odd scene because he's talking to her, but we can't hear what he's saying, but we can hear what she's saying when she's yelling back at him. So I guess that was a moment where they just wanted us to know that she's a no-nonsense person.
And I also think they're trying to set up maybe the possibility of who the killer is, but there's no question later on who the killer is. It's extremely obvious.
So it is. So
well, we'll get into. But I just wanted to say now, this kid sticks up for Harley Smith's character, the dorky kid, runs out there to fight the mascot for pushing. I mean, he's pushing a woman on the field. This guy.
He literally physically
pushing him,
Harley Smith.
And so he runs out there to fight this guy, but he instantly gets knocked out. We cut to later on where I guess the premise is that girl. Jane gets talked in by Merritt to go back to the teacher and please beg for a retake for the test for everybody else. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be all on her, that she knows the answers. This only ends up having a bad response from the teacher, who is like, "You're dumbing yourself down if you're going to hang out with those pieces of shit. And you're better than this." And he's putting his hands on her and he grabs her backpack and goes through it and reads her diary and looks at all these art that she's drawn on all the pages. She doesn't even need to study because she's so smart.
Yeah, what's really creepy about that art book is there's just basically like a picture of Merritt that she drew in there.
Yeah, it's like his guys. I think the whole group of
like
them.
really weird. So he takes her her stuff out of her backpack, and then like her pencils go flying all over the place, and
he gets up on her.
He gets up on her, and he's like in her face, and
he's like, "You're
really
special."
creepy, and telling her how special she is, and she's wasting her time with these hooligans, hanging out with them, and you know they're all bad news or whatever. And so he like basically like almost physically assaults her.
Yeah,
basically.
Number 9. You got it wrong on your test.
Oh, yeah. I must have.
It's odd to me because, given your understanding of the concepts, I don't see why that 96 wasn't 100.
Well, there's been a lot to study for the semester.
How long did you study?
Hours? I'm not sure.
At all?
No, I did study, and...
Don't lie. I see how you are in my class. You don't listen. You don't take notes. It's because of them, isn't it? Because of what they'll think. I thought I told you. Don't feel ashamed.
No, I'm not ashamed. And I do listen. I do take notes. I do. Okay, wait. Can you stop? Okay, so I'm already, like, doing better than everybody else here.
Better than who? A bunch of morons? There are 2 kinds of people, Jane. Fiddle people, hammer people. Fiddle people, they can't build, they can't make. They play, they drive their convertibles, and then, after a while, summer ends. What happens then? They take from the hammer people, the people that have been working month after month, who don't trash their gifts, they use them to make things. Fiddle people, hammer people. And it's my job to make you pick up the hammer. But all I see is you hanging out with the fiddlers, trying to get them to like you. And you know what? It's not cute, Jane. It's pathetic. This is a waste. They are a waste. That is a gift. Don't you dare throw it away.
So of course she's creeped out and she gets Merritt.
Creeped out, tells her friend Merritt what happened, and Merritt and Jane just march into the principal's office to report this incident, which as they should. While the principal is completely a moron.
He doesn't want to deal with it.
He doesn't want to deal with it. He basically sides with the teacher, and you know, and that's when.
But Merritt, yeah.
You know, Merritt, being a little rich snot that she is, you know, my daddy is an influencer, and he can get you fired if you don't do something about this. So, long story short, the teacher that basically assaults Jane gets fired.
Gets fired.
Gee, I wonder
what's going to happen
what
next?
happens next. So the gang of kids decides that they don't have anywhere else to hang out in life. So why not just break into the school and raid the
liquor cabinet,
of the gym teacher? The gym teacher.
He has full bottles.
Has full bottles of liquor in his desk drawer. And so they raid that. There's some They put disco lights out in what appears to be a library in the school, and they just have a party, you know, just drinking and, you know, smoking weed. And it seemed like a faculty lounge. There's a pool table in there.
There's a pool table, right? Okay.
Yeah, they were just hanging out in there and just being teenagers, and, you know, that's fine and whatever. But
this is the scene I need to talk about. There's something that happens in the scene.
In the scene where they're drinking and...
Yes.
Okay.
They break into this school and they do all this stuff that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really interesting is Jane goes and turns off security cameras.
Yeah.
There is nobody working to watch the security cameras.
Yeah, you would first have to have a security guard to watch those security cameras.
Yes, that's how it works.
She just waltzed into the security office and turned off the cameras, but there was nobody there
to see them.
So what's the point?
What is the point of this? Like, someone's going to rewind them? Why?
Yeah.
Are they going to destroy the school? Like, what is their plan? Their plan is just to have a party.
Yeah.
And then remember, there's only 5 kids in this movie because nobody exists. We've seen a teacher, a principal, some people on a soccer field, and that's it. That's the movie so far. And now these kids are in his school. That's how fast we get through this plot.
Mhm.
They're in the school, they're partying up, and now we're starting to see the connections. So we see that the main guy of the group likes Jane, and we see that Merritt likes that guy, and we see that the dork and Harley Smith like each other, but they get extremely drunk, and they're not able to properly tell everybody everything. But Merritt is mad that Jane and that guy are flirting.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane has just been going, she just went through basically like a creepy assault from a teacher that she respected. And Merritt decides to throw that at the guy, basically tells him she was raped by this guy.
Okay, so we're talking about Ellis. Ellis is the jockey kind of guy.
Yeah, she's telling Ellis because she's jealous. She doesn't want Jane and him together. So she's basically like, don't go near her. She was raped, you know?
Yeah.
And
so that means that, she's not going to want to be touched by another man.
Yeah.
So stay away from her.
But what's great is Ellis actually turns out to be a pretty good guy because he says to her, you're a terrible friend to Merritt. You're a terrible friend to tell him the secret that she had. You're a terrible person.
He out and out tells her, you're just a piece of shit.
Yeah. Which makes her storm off.
Yeah, so she stormed off, like the nasty snot that she is. And
yeah, and remember this. Just picture this. This girl has a perm, overdone makeup, huge earrings, and she makes faces that they zoom in on, and she just gives the worst bitch faces you've ever seen in your life, and you just hate her. She's very unlikable, and she's very hard to watch.
You really just hate this character. Yeah. I mean, she's the worst, and it was one of those situations where it's like you zoom in on someone's face as they're just destroying another human with their words, and all you want to do is just reach through the screen and knock her out.
And the director does like Dutch angles. It's very uncomfortable to look at. It does not frame her right. It makes her look worse. The director constantly does this too. Constantly frames things where it's uncomfortable. It's just disgusting to look at. It's very just not flattering in the worst. And she does this with Harley Smith a lot. At the same time that that's happening with those, Harley Smith and this other guy are basically flirting, and she wants the guy to move on her. And he is just so oblivious and stupid. And the moment that Harley Smith tries to go and kiss him, he honestly throws up, which I just thought that's hilarious.
I'm like, that's like, is it a metaphor for the movie?
That's not only a metaphor, but just like the characters are revolting, and it's just like it's just great. Yeah. Well, he goes to the bathroom to throw up, and then he's comically drunk now because the moment before he threw up, he was extremely normal. Yeah. He was having a full conversation and caring about the Harley Smith character, and which is really strange because this is the only moment. These are the only moments that actually feel like a movie. You actually start going, well, I feel for these two characters in this moment. The same thing with the Ellis and the Jane thing, with them basically saying you're a terrible friend to Merritt.
Yeah,
this is interesting.
In the pool area, they literally had like the only human moment that any of these characters could possibly have. Like you thought that Harley. Okay, first of all, her name is Nadia in the movie, so Nadia and Frenchie were gonna have a moment in the pool, and
like Grease.
And so you thought, okay, this is kind of human. It's good, These characters don't seem that bad,
Yeah.
But then no,
he's comically drunk,
and
he goes to the bathroom to throw up, and comically drunk is like singing and just ranting, and then of course the mascot walks in with the sledgehammer.
Yeah, the mascot with the actual sledgehammer.
The
actual sledgehammer. Like not, like you said, a prop, but a real one.
A real sledgehammer. Kills this Frenchie character. We only see the blood coming out through underneath the bathroom stall. We don't see it, but we see that he's smashing his head in the bathroom.
Yeah. There's no gore shown in this.
And so all the characters are kind of like in their moments and are kind of all mad at each other or whatever. And the Harley Smith character, which I don't remember her name again. Nadia. She gets up and she's basically like, where is he? He's taking too long. I'm worried about him. So she goes in the bathroom and finds his dead body. And then she screams. So the other characters all go in there.
Mm-hmm.
And one by one, they all find him dead. And now they're panicking. And they're realizing the power is off now. Lights went out. Right? The only character that's smart is Jane. She goes and pulls the fire alarm, but the fire alarm is shut off. So they're screwed. And
Can you even shut?
Yeah,
off?
you can shut it. There's a key and you can turn it off.
I mean, that's just bonkers. I've never heard of that. Like the whole point of a fire alarm is that only the fire
when it
department
goes
can
off,
turn
when it goes off, it has this hideous noise, and sometimes you need someone on campus or in the building to make sure that noise goes off. I don't know if it can be completely shut off. I think it'll still flash, but she pulls it. At least it's smart. The only smart character, the only one does anything smart in this whole movie.
She tried.
And of course, who gives a crap? They start getting picked off one by one. You think that maybe since we set up some of these characters to have these moments, you'd have maybe characters survive. But no, the Nadia character is killed off next. Again,
very easily.
Yeah, very easily. She basically goes to fight the fucking the mascot, and she just automatically gets killed.
Yeah, just one slap to the head with the sledgehammer, she's out. That's it, done.
And then it's the other three characters, and so one by one they're going to be picked off. And what shockingly is Ellis gets killed. Next.
Ellis gets killed when he was pretty much having the only moment that he could possibly have with Jane, the main character, in a dark room. Looking at pictures.
Oh,
and they were going to, have their moment, and the mascot just comes up behind him, which is comical in itself because there's only one door to get into the dark room, which is on the other side of the wall. And so he came behind him from where now? I don't know. He just appeared out of the wall.
Yes, he's in the room with them with no door.
So that's ridiculous. He just was
You also
already
pointed out that they tried to shove a table in front of a door. So he couldn't get in the room, but the door was backwards.
In addition,
so he would have just opened the door.
Yes, in addition to the mascot killer being in the dark room already, when there's only one door to get in and out, which was behind Jane. So I guess the mascot just appeared, like he just materialized out of the wall. Okay, so that's one comical thing. But then the next comical thing is when they were running away from him, they shoved a table in front of the door, but the door opened inward.
Yeah.
Not out.
And I gotta slip this in here.
He could have just opened the door and jumped over the table.
I forgot to slip this in, but this is important because this is so fucking funny. I don't even know if it's not meant to be funny because they don't shoot any of this like it's a comedy. They shoot it like it's serious.
Yeah, they do.
They all run after they found Frenchie dead. They all got weapons from shop class. And what's really funny is there is basically saw blades everywhere and killing weapons. But the one character, each character grabs something that is just so stupid. Well, except for the Nadia character who grabs a huge crowbar.
Okay, so she's smart.
She's smart. Merritt grabs small wrench. It's just like a clamp. It's not even a wrench. It's basically a pipe clamp. I don't know what the hell she's going to do. Why wouldn't she grab a saw? Like, there's little saw blades and stuff like that all over the place.
There's saws. There's all sorts of real weapons she could have grabbed, but
I was trying to watch what Jane grabbed. I can't remember. It was also something dumb, but it was just she might as well grab the ruler from the classroom.
Yeah. Well, so point is, it doesn't matter anyway what weapon they grabbed, whether it's a pencil or
because they never use them.
Axe, because Nadia, who had the best weapon of all, she got slapped in the head with a sledgehammer in 2 seconds and died immediately. She might as well have had a pencil.
I agree.
It's so stupid.
And actually later on, pencils become a thing because no one has actual weapons. They all have pencils. So that Ella's character dies. And then we have the other two characters.
Okay, so
one of which we absolutely loathe.
Merritt.
Yeah.
And she's having a moment in the library with Jane. And she just says, this is all your fault. Everyone's dying. you're a piece of shit. You're a worthless human. I don't know why I'm ever friends with you. And just cuts her up and cuts her up and cuts her up.
I'm your mother.
I always have to take care of you. I'm essentially your mother. You're just a piece of shit. You're a loser. And so so Jane loses her mind and finally just pushes Merritt over the balcony and she falls to her death.
Yeah.
That should have happened way earlier because then we wouldn't have to see her freaking
It's one
face.
of those moments in the movie where you're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm supposed to feel something, but no, thank you.
I was like, I wanted this to happen in minute one. The minute we met her, she just was awful character.
So
Awful.
Jane goes to the classroom of the teacher, and he's in there waiting for her, and he's like, I did all this for you. I killed them all because they're holding you back.
Mm-hmm. Which is
And
no
you're
surprise
so
that it's the
amazing.
teacher that's the freaking killer. I mean,
It's not even a shock.
they didn't set anyone else up for like a red herring or anything like that.
The other characters are actually yelling about how they think it's the mascot kid that they fought with at soccer school on practice.
Oh yeah, because Nadia had that fight with him on the field
And I
that
think
was
it's him.
just ridiculous. It went nowhere and had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Bro, he's so lit.
Right.
It was just the stupidest scene for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And didn't even need to be in the movie because from the beginning, I mean, from all of this, we never thought that it was the mascot that was the killer at all. He would have no motive, number one.
Yeah.
The only person in the movie that had motive to hurt these kids was the teacher. I mean, there was no suspense or mystery or anything. It's like, okay, yeah, we're telling you flat out, this is the killer, and why do we even care?
It's like worthless.
Because there was like no point to any of it. It was
And yada yada yada. She takes a pencil, which we can see is a flat pencil that doesn't have a point.
Yeah, it's an unsharpened pencil.
She kills a teacher, and she stabs him with it.
Yeah, she stabs him.
And they have like a fight, and then she sledgehammers his head for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The ending of the movie, to top off, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The end it all, we just see a scene of the main character, Jane, walking down the street, still carrying the sledgehammer, covered in guts and blood, walking down the street, and for no reason, we see the kid who plays the mascot at the games sleeping in a car, and then he just looks at her. End of movie.
And he just looks at her, and the movie literally ends there. The credits roll. I mean, bottom line is, this girl's going to jail. She looks like a psycho that just murdered 5 people.
Yeah, we thought maybe it was going to go somewhere with the ending where it was like, oh
No.
she looks like the guilty party here.
Yeah.
She's crazy and she killed everybody. And no, instead it just cuts. It's over.
Why? I mean, why bother even going further with it? It's just, hey, let's just end this movie because we don't know what else to do.
It's baffling. This one was baffling to me. I didn't even understand why it was a thing. That's why I felt like this must be an hour.
I mean,
because this is so cheap. Like there's nothing to it. And you know what's really sad is the school itself that they're in. That building's amazing. It looks like a castle.
Okay,
it's
it's
gorgeous.
beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
And it's not used. You're not given
Not
any
used.
idea of what the space is. You're never given an idea of anything. You're just told little clues like Merritt's mother was rich and she hates her mother. And how Jane didn't have a mother, so Merritt was taking care of her.
Yeah.
You're just given these little details, but none of it has any weight. Nothing ever feels special or interesting. Nothing ever feels important.
There's never a, like I said in the prior podcast, it's like when characters die in a movie, usually you kind of like have just a little inkling like, oh damn, I like that girl. I wish she didn't die, or I like that guy. His character was fun. You have that. But in this movie, I didn't even care if the main character died. I hated this movie so much.
Yeah.
From start to finish, every single thing about this movie, I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty angry right now talking about it. I didn't even want to do this one because I just hated the movie so much.
Well, this is talking trash.
Talking trash.
We talk total shit. So
Total
this
shit.
is a bad one.
I mean, I'm physically like not even. I'm like outside of myself talking about this movie. It's terrible.
It's just really bad.
We've seen movies like this.
Yeah.
so many movies like this. This is a like dime a dozen movie with the plot, but never have we just seen so unlikable characters, just terrible, terrible characters. But then the plot is just there's nothing to it. It's like, okay, here, we're serving this on a silver platter for you. Here, it's the teacher, you guys. Tell us in 5 minutes of the movie starting. It's like it's the stupidest thing. I mean,
no gore, no reason. You have to at least give us gore. You have to give us something special to make it stand out.
Something. There's no gore at all. Not even an inkling. Like all we have is a pool of blood that we're shown from afar.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason to even watch this movie. There's just no reason. There's nothing special about it.
No setup.
There's no setup. There's just nothing, and it's just. I was left completely just. I went to bed mad. So I don't think that's why I slept, because I was just mad, and I guess getting mad at a movie is kind of stupid, but I mean it's what we do. We watch movies and we like to be entertained, and there's nothing entertaining about it. I literally wanted to reach through the TV and just punch these fucking kids right in the face. I couldn't take it anymore.
I was going to say that another thing that really is disappointing is that I like the mascot killer idea. I liked seeing this smiling thing, which could have been done creepy.
Yeah,
to watch this bleeding, like a bloody, creepy mascot with a sledgehammer just destroying people. I think there's something there that could have been good. And what's even more disappointing is how nothing comes of it. So it's just a letdown. And I feel
like I mean, other movies we've seen where it's set in a high school, people are getting slaughtered and stuff. There has been like an element of mystery where, like, oh, it could be that person or this person.
Yeah.
Oh, what about that person? But in this movie, it was like, okay, we're just going to tell you in the first 30 seconds because we're lazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And I think they do actually try to set something up, but it's so weak that it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and then they just give up. It's like, okay, well, this is inventive.
Final thought is this is a big fat 2 stars. I will only give it 2 because there is moments of something special, and I never give zeros. So 2.
Wow. Okay, that's worse than mine. And I hated these characters so much. I'm actually going to give it a 3. Simply
I'm surprised.
Because it's not.
You hated it way more.
I mean, I hated it. I hated it like a lot, but I didn't hate it as bad as like some of the other trash we watched. I did hate it. I mean, it made me angry, as you can tell through this whole entire podcast.
I always say to you, in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, bring it up to me, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that thing." I'll forget this instantly.
Well, I'm just thinking back on movies that I've given a 2, and they were some freaking hot garbage, man. That's why I'm giving this a 3, because we've seen the bottom of the barrel trash movies, and yes, these characters infuriated me. Everything about the writing and the plot infuriated me, but it seriously wasn't worthy of a 1 or a 2 in my book. Like that would have to be.
You make me feel like I should change.
Unwatchable. Completely unwatchable. It would have to be where I'm getting up off the couch and going to bed because I can't do it anymore. And I did reach a point, the character of Merritt, where I literally just couldn't take her anymore.
I couldn't even look at her walk. I didn't even get to talk about.
Yeah, she was so extra with the way she dressed and like her over the topness, and she walked like she was
like a linebacker.
Very
strange with her shoulders up.
Yeah, like she had all this confidence in her walk, but she also looked like she could double as a zombie in a horror movie.
Like stiff as it is very odd.
Like it was weird. It was just weird. I can't even describe it. And if you ever are so inclined to watch this piece of crap, which I hope you don't,
please pass.
Yeah, you'll see what we're talking about. But it was just, this movie just made me mad. But I'm going to tell you, as far as my rating of a 3, we have a very vast collection of movies that we own in box set collections of compilations that are just terrible, and you just can't bear to watch. This movie, it actually kept me in my seat simply because it was infuriating, and I just needed it to get to the end so I can see what happens.
And
to
I was on
Jane.
the opposite. I've completely faded away during
Like
it.
at the end, I was like, all right, let me just see how this ends. I mean, I just need to get to the end at this point. And so when I did, I was like relieved because I was glad it was over. But I went to bed pretty pissed off because I'm like, this movie sucked.
Yeah.
Like our mascot, Anvil Owl.